Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with the next update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows. This is a project that was created years and years ago by Alexi. I'm sure all of you guys know that. She doesn't post anymore, which you probably also know, but I will have her link down below nevertheless. And I am also using Laney's prompt. I don't think she's posting either at the moment, but she created a prompt list with different prompts and I'm using them to pick my eyeshadow because I feel like I get a little bit more freedom with my color story that way, and also I just love the randomization and prompts kind of aspect of it all. So that is my project. My personal rules is that I work on 4 eyeshadows at any point in time. My goal is to, of course, to hit pan on them if I can, or use them 20 times. So that is my kind of limit. So if I have used them 20 times and I haven't hit pan, I'm allowed to roll them out if I want to. So yeah, I'm gonna jump into the update itself and let you know where I'm sitting with my 4 eyeshadows today. But before I do that, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So we're going to start off with the first shadow, which I rolled in for any matte shadow, which means I could roll in anything, but I actually rolled it in on Valentine's Day. So I was filming on Valentine's Day and I wanted to play with my Laney Love palette because it was kind of like the season for it, and I also hadn't reached for it in a while. So I wanted to reach for that palette, and the shade that I fittingly went for that day was the Shan Valentine, which is this one right here. I will insert now the footage of what this one has been looking like, so you can see where it's been standing. It is one of her like regular mattes, it's not one of her cream to powder mattes, so it's definitely a bit more of a firmer formula, but I've been working away on it quite a lot. It's been this beautiful kind of warm pink shade that I have been able to incorporate quite a bit. I used it 6 times in the first month, and yeah, I think it's also because again I did film it in February, so I was able to reach for it in February quite a bit. The second month it wasn't a project though, I did definitely slow down. I only reached for it twice. I rolled out something that went with this shadow from a different project, which is also why the usage was lower. So I was sitting at 8 uses in the past month, and this is what it looked like at that point. Since then, I am happy to say that I have reached for this one 12 additional times, so I have now hit my 20 uses, and this is where it's sitting today. So definitely is a little bit of a dip, but nowhere near pan. This is definitely, like I said, quite a hard pressed shadow, and I reckon it would have taken me like 50 plus uses to even hit pan on this shadow. So like I said, this one does have a little bit of a dip. You can see it right there. I'm really happy that I was able to get so much use out of the shadow, but I'm also happy that it's rolling out now. It's been in the project for 3 months, which is something that I try to like unofficially roll shadows out by, just because I feel like it's a way to keep the project fresh and I don't work on the same shadows for too long. So I'm excited this one is rolling out. Of course it would have been more fun with a pan, but I never really expected to pan on the shadow, just because again it is one of the regular mattes, and I'm happy with the progress this shadow is showing now, and where it's sitting. Next up we have a shadow that rolled in for a shadow starting with Q, so a letter prompt, and I decided to go with quite a new shadow in my collection. It is from Shine by SD and it's the shade Quantum. This is what it looked like when I first rolled it in, which was 2 months ago. It is this beautiful holographic type of shadow that has like a blue kind of bluish green main shift that goes into pink and an orangey gold at a very harsh angle. So it's like a multichrome and a holographic shade all at once, which is really interesting, and I've been loving using this one. I used it 3 times in the first month, and this is what it looked like then. So this is also where I was sitting last month. There was a little bit of disturbance, but nothing too much. This is quite a thin formula, so even though it is very sparkly, the formula itself is very thin, so I don't feel like I'm getting a massive dip after my usage, just because again the brush doesn't pick up too much. But this is what it looks like today. I have reached for it 5 additional times for a total of 8. So again you can see there is a little use on this shadow, but barely a dip if I'm being honest, and again 8 uses so far. So yeah, this is the shadow right there. I'm covering up a different shadow that I have in this project, and you can see of course there is some use, but this one was brand new when I rolled it in. I had never used the shadow before, and this is a swatch of it by the way as well if you want to see. So you can see that kind of green base. I don't know if you can pick up the pink shift at all, but yeah, it's like that kind of green, and I can also see some blue to it going into like that pinky purple. That's like the main shifts. But yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to reach for it 5 additional times. 8 uses after 2 months means that I'm currently have 12 uses left or to hit pan on it, which Ideally, I would like to do in the next month because, again, my unofficial rule to roll out things after 3 months. We'll see if I'm able to do that. It's kind of a similar situation to where I was with my Natasha Denona shade. This is a shimmer though, so I feel like I can reach for it a little bit more, but I also feel like, since it is more of a colorful shade, like the pink one is also obviously also a colorful shade, but I can reach for it more with neutrals. I'm not sure, but we'll see. I'm gonna try to have this one out, but again, we're just gonna have to see what happens. And with this shadow as well, I definitely feel like I will be able to, I'm gonna hit my 20 uses before I hit pan. Again, I mean, I'm not surprised. It is a new shadow in my collection. It's never been used, and it is like a round single, which usually are quite deep as well. So that is where I'm sitting with that shadow. So the third shadow that we have in the project comes from a palette this time. This is my Elva palette from Odin's Eye, and I rolled in the prompt and outer corner shadow, and I decided to go with this deepish, I mean, it's not super deep, but it's like a, yeah, pinky undertoned brown. It's a really stunning undertone. It's been working really well with that pink, and I've really been enjoying it, and that is called Peony. So this is what it looked like when I first introduced it last month. Again, I had of course used this palette, but it was kind of, you know, brand new-ish. I had a couple uses on it, of course, but nothing too extreme. And like I said, I have been enjoying this shadow quite a lot. It's been a really easy shade to incorporate because it did go with those kind of pinkier looks, but also more neutral looks. So yeah, it's been a good shade. I reached for it 6 times in this first month, and this is what it looks like today. So you can see some disturbance in the pan, not a major dip yet, but I'm happy with the 6 uses and I'm happy with the progress on it. It's definitely, like, again, a little bit of a start of a dip. These pans are extremely deep, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pan on it, but I do feel like we are sitting in a good spot after 6 uses. So yes, that is the shade down here. It is the deepest shade in this palette, and hopefully again you can see that dip. Not sure if you can pick it up on camera, but otherwise I hope you saw it in the footage. But yeah, I'm really happy with that shadow, and again I'm going to continue reach for it in the next month. I am rolling out that pink matte though, the top one, so you know, it's been really nice to reach for those shadows together because they do have a very similar undertone. But I also know that this one is going to work lovely with other shades that I'm panning, so I'm not again worried about it. And yeah, it's been a fun shade to reach for, and I'm definitely glad I pulled this palette out because I think it's a really stunning one and I don't give it enough love. But also you might be able to see here in this shadow that again the pans are very deep, so we'll see what I do with this one. But I still have 14 uses to go, so a lot of things can happen in that time. But again, I don't think it's going to roll out maybe next month, but hopefully in 2 months time, either again via hitting pan or the 20 uses. The last shadow that I rolled in for the prompt and in the shadow, and I decided to go with a shadow from Terra Moons. It is the bottom shade right there, so it is like a pink shimmer. It's like a pink to gold shimmer. I don't know if you can pick up the shift at all. It's a super stunning shade. It has some green to it too, very sparkly, very flaky, and that is the shade Flare Star. So this is what this one looked like when I rolled in, which again was last month. I already had a massive dip on the shadow because I had reached for it quite a bit. I think I had this one in at probably 10 uses a couple of years ago. I also reached for it a couple of times earlier this year, and I think sometimes last year as well. I can't remember, but I know for a fact that I have reached for this one, you know, up towards like 25 uses or something like that. So again, a decent amount, and it is also more of a flakier shade. This is what this one looks like now. So as you can see, I was actually able to pan the shadow. I'm not surprised. I can expect that because again I had a major dip in this shade. It only took me 4 uses, so quite a quick pan, but a pan nevertheless, and it's also quite a big pan, which I'm happy to see. So yeah, you can see the pan right there, and again it is quite a juicy pan, quite a big pan, and I definitely feel like it's going to expand quite quickly because there is a major dip as well around the pan, and hopefully as well you can see some of that shift. I feel like you can pick up the shift there when I move this pan around. But yeah, very happy to see a pan this month and also to have another rollout. It's been a really fun again shade. It's been going really well with that pink matte and this outer corner shade and other things that I'm panning too, so it's been super nice. Even though I only got to reach for it 4 times in the project, I'm trying to still hit 25 uses on it in total, which I'm not at yet, because even though I'm saying I know that for a fact that I have minimum 25 uses on it, 10 of those were from previous year, again when I did the product, like I think it was called Armageddon. I did a 10 uses on this one, but that was before I started tracking it, so it's not counted into this year's 25 uses. But that's a different project. It's my year of usage if you're interested. So I'm still going to continue using the shadow, and so I'm hoping again to see the pan expand. So we have 2 shadows rolling out, 2 staying in. So these are the 2 shadows that are staying in. We have Quantum from Shan Valentine and Peony from Odin's Eye Elva palette. So these 2 are staying in, and we're going to go ahead and randomize 2 new prompts that, you know, I'm going to pick my shadows from. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I have my Tiny Decisions app right here with all the prompts. So let's see what I get. We got an everyday shadow. Okay, that's going to be good. Something definitely to round out like the color story, and something's going to be easy to reach for. So that is the first shade. And then the second prompt is going to be a shadow you want to pan. What a joy. What easy prompts. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pick my new 2 shadows out. I have no idea what I'm going to go for yet, but I'm going to have a look through my collection, see what I want to pull in, and I will be right back. So I'm back, and that was harder than I thought it would be. I found something for an everyday shadow straight away, but then for like something that I want to pan, that was harder. But I feel like both of these like eyeshadows kind of work for both prompts, but let me talk you through them. So this here is my new color story. It is very different from the last one, so that's kind of nice. Also, by the way, I didn't mention before, but I do have a rule that I have to have at least 1 matte in, which is already qualified with the Peony shade. So I decided to roll in 2 shimmers because, yeah, that's just what I decided to go with. I feel like I have too many everyday mattes in like my pan palettes and stuff like that, and for what I want to pan, I want to pan a shimmer. So let's start with the first shadow up here, which is a beautiful, beautiful shimmery shadow, and that one comes from the Pastel Roses. So this is what I decided to roll in for everyday shadow, but again it kind of works for what I want to pan as well. But it's this shadow right here, and this one is called Little Star. This is a beautiful kind of yellowy, kind of like, it's a yellowy kind of shade, but it's still kind of neutral, that goes into more of a cool toned purpley to blue to turquoise shift. It's very shifty, but also still very neutral. It doesn't, even though it says a lot of colors in the shift, it still is relatively neutral, and I feel like this one works really nicely either as a topper shade or as an inner corner shade, and that is kind of why I'm rolling it in for an everyday shadow, because I can use it in a lot of ways, and it's just a very useful shadow, and I think I'm gonna have loads of fun with this one. And I am rolling in another single though, because I need to get the use out of my singles this year, something that I'm really trying to do. So this one fits that prompt. I was very, very close to rolling a single for the next prompt as well, but I decided against it, which again I will show you in a second. But yeah, this is what I'm rolling for an everyday shadow. Hopefully I'm able to pan on it within 20 uses, but we'll see how far I get. And then for something that you want to pan, I decided to go with this shadow right here, which is like a lavender light kind of purple shimmer, and that one comes again from a palette. It is this palette right here, which is the Club Nebula palette. I decided to go with, I think it's the Lost Shimmer. Yeah, it's the Lost Shimmer that I don't have pan on in here, which is this one here called You're My Only Hope. And that shadow, there's a couple of reasons why I want to pan it. First of all, I just looked through my palettes which ones I want to give more love to. This is one of them. Second of all, I already have a big dip in that shadow, so I feel like it's going to be quite easy to pan on, hopefully. So there's a couple of different reasons why I want to pan it. It's also an everyday shadow, so again, these could have switched place, I guess, but I decided on the Little Star shade first for everyday shadow because I had no idea what I wanted to pan. But yeah, that is the next shadow, and I'm very, very excited for it. I do think, again, I should be able to pan on this one relatively quickly. It might even happen in a month's time, and that would be amazing, because I do want to keep this color story rolling. So yeah, those are my 2 color stories. Let me know which one you prefer. This one is definitely very pink, very rosy, a little bit more colorful. And then here we have a very neutral, everyday type of color story with, you know, some twist with those indie shadows. But I love both of them. I don't know if I could pick a favorite, honestly. I feel like this is very me with those kind of romantic undertones, but this is also very, very stunning, and I think this one is going to be very useful for me to have. So goals for next month is I'm going to try to roll out again Quantum. I have 12 more uses to go on that one, so that we'll see if that happens. And then maybe to hit pan on the new shade rolling in, You're My Only Hope. I think that might be able to happen too, and then I can have 2 more rollouts next month. With the 2 in the middle, we're just going to see how far I can get. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to hit my goal on either of those or not, but I'm going to do my very best, of course. Otherwise that can happen in 2 months time, no pressure. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up the video here. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and make sure to check out my other videos. I do post every other day, so again, if you subscribe, you will see another video in a couple of days. But in the meantime, I hope you guys are having an amazing day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.